Hello to the losers who are subscribed to my channel. I know it's been quite a while since I have blessed you with fresh British fish production content that you so desperately crave for. You need it! I know you spend every waking hour of your day just thinking, oh my god, when is Travis going to upload a new video? I need it! I need it! I know that's what you're thinking constantly because you have no life. But the good news is, well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that a new video is coming out today. That's right, today. The bad news is that you're still a loser and you always will be one. And no one will ever care about you, ever. There's not even a 1% chance that anyone will care about you. But that's not the point of this video. So I found this journal from my sophomore year of high school, and I thought it was interesting because it was, there was an entry in here, and the prompt was asking me, what sort of rights do you think animals deserve? And now, for those of you who know me, you will know that I am an extremely, very annoying vegan. But this was before that. This was before I was as annoying as I am today. I mean, I was still very annoying, but I was slightly less annoying back then. But, so, I just thought it would be interesting to go through my answer to this and respond to it. So, first of all, I say, okay, so this is the question. What kind of rights do you think animals should have? How do you feel about dog pounds, chicken farms, and cattle ranches? Consider dolphins, bees, mice, rabbits, cockroaches, dogs, cats, deer, and fish. So here's my answer. At the time, this was written on March 14th, 2017. My answer was, I feel like animals should probably have more rights than they do now. There should be stricter regulations in regards to how you can treat them. For example, electric shock collars should be banned. Dogs and other animals can still be trained without having to resort to those kinds of tactics. Sure, it might be a bit harder, but if you're not willing to put in that kind of effort, then you're probably not fit to be a pet owner in the first place. Also, recreational hunting should be banned. So far, so good. Okay, it goes on. I can understand if you're hunting for food or something, but if you're doing just for sport, yeah, no. It shouldn't be legal for you to go around just killing animals for fun. So, a few things about this. All hunting should be banned, not just hunting for food. I mean, not just hunting for sport. Because even in the case of food, for the vast majority of people who hunt, you do not actually need to hunt for food. Most people, at least in a Western context, who hunt have the means to get food elsewhere. You know, most people who hunt are people who can go to the grocery store and can buy vegan food, but they just choose to hunt for fun. So really, even people who hunt for food are still doing it unnecessarily for fun. So that's point one. Also, it is kind of hypocritical for me to go around denouncing people who hunt for food. I mean, people who hunt for sport, while I probably on the very day that I wrote this, was eating factory farmed meat. Of course, factory farmed meat causes much more suffering than hunting, even though both are still morally unacceptable. So it's a bit hypocritical for me to go around telling other people they shouldn't unnecessarily kill animals. Meanwhile, I was doing the same thing, and I was actually doing it in a worse way. So then it continues. There's also these dog fights some people have, where they basically just take dogs and make them fight to the death. Now I'm not quite sure what the legality of those things is like. I mean, I'd hope it's not legal, but if it is, it should be made illegal right away. And there should be extremely harsh legal consequences for anyone that decides to host these kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, the thing about dogfighting is, what's the difference between making a dog fight and putting a pig in a gas chamber? I mean, in both cases, you're essentially torturing an animal for pleasure. I mean, the only difference is, in the dogfighting scenario, it's the pleasure you get from watching them fight, whereas with pigs, it's the pleasure from how the bacon tastes. But either way, you're still torturing an animal for fun. So in both cases, they should be illegal. Okay, I mean, seriously, that's messed up. I hear scientists are actually working on something that allows them to create meat without having to kill any animals for it. I don't know the details of it, but I think the gist of it is that they obtain animal cells and then are able to somehow grow meat from it. It might be done differently, since I'm basing that off of some article I read like 2 years ago. But either way, I feel that once eating lab-grown meat becomes a mainstream thing, it'd be perfectly reasonable for the organic meat industry, I put that in quotes, to be banned. Because at that point, you're just killing animals when there's really no need to, and I don't think that should be legal. So I'm already, at this point, more progressive on animal rights than probably the average person. But the thing is, it's not just the killing animals for food is unnecessary even without lab-grown meat. Because lab-grown meat is just, well, something that the texture and taste is exactly like meat. But you don't need to eat something that has the exact same texture and taste as meat. It's not a necessary thing. So even without lab-grown meat, eating meat is still unnecessary and thus should be illegal. Also, the thing I find interesting about this is this was written in 2017. I bring up the possibility of lab-grown meat, and in the article I say that I read about lab-grown meat like 2 years ago. So that would mean that I'm referring to 2015. So we've been talking about lab-grown meat for years now, and very little has come of it. There's been some, little tests. I mean, they've released it in, some small, areas. Or, there's been small releases of it, but it's nowhere near a mainstream thing. There's no mainstream grocery stores or restaurants or anything that have lab-grown meat. So it seems like this is really just an excuse at this point for people to push off their actual moral obligations, and avoid going vegan. The thing is, lab-grown meat is a cop-out. You do not need lab-grown meat. You do not need any sort of meat to be healthy. So even without it's absurd to just continue to voluntarily pay for animals to be tortured, because plant-based meat does not taste exactly like animal meat. You don't need it to. So that is my response to my previous journal entry, my previous statement on animal rights.